Hey YouTubers, good morning, it's Robb. Guys, we're back in the kitchen today. We're making a recipe for my friend Brad over at BC Truck. Brad told me he's got to change his diet like everybody, me included. He has to eat more vegetables, but he can have a little pasta now and then. It just so happens there's one dish I make that's one of my all-time favorites. It's basically vegetables with a tiny bit of pasta. And it's so simple to make. It's going to be slow cooked. The secret of this dish is you need a little nonstick pan like this omelet pan and a lid, because we're going to slow cook all the ingredients, and the liquid's going to condense on the top of this pan and go back in the pan and stay moist the whole time. We're going to cook it on very low heat for an hour, and that's partially because some of our ingredients are going to be adding they're frozen. So it's got basically vegetables, a little handful of cheese tortellinis, and because I'm making it for myself, I'm going to add two little tiny meatballs that are size of a ping pong ball. But if you're vegetarian or you're trying to get rid of meat, it's not necessary. I'm going to show you because we're going to be adding so many other ingredients. The cool thing about this is if there's one ingredient you don't like, there's so many other different flavors and textures. Like if you don't like peas and somebody gives you a bowl of pea soup, you don't want to eat that. But if you have a plate that's got like 9 different things going on, if you don't like one of them, well, you got 8 more. So you're going to find something you like. And all the different flavors mingling, and the taste, and the textures, and the smells, and the colors. It's one of my favorite, simple, inexpensive, very delicious, nutritious meals that I make for myself regularly. And also, it's lazy. We just have to prepare a couple things, throw it in a pan, put it on. I put it on a hot plate out on the balcony on low heat for an hour. Set a timer for an hour, go watch the internet, come back, my lunch is done. That's enough talking. Let's get started. My first ingredient is just going to be a handful of tortellinis. Usually you cook tortellinis in boiling water because the lid's going to be on this and the liquid is going to condense and come back in the pan. These are going to absorb all the extra moisture that's in the pan. It's going to be sweating off the vegetables and the other things we're adding. Because I'm making it for myself, I'm going to add 2 little meatballs, but you do not have to do that. We're going to throw in, you know what, I usually put these on top. Let me add some other ingredients first. The cabbage is going to be kind of important. If you don't have cabbage, you can add Brussels sprouts, or you can add onions, or cabbage. The purple cabbage is supposed to be more nutritious, but I don't know. I just like the color because it is nothing else you're going to be adding. It's purple, and it goes good with the greens and the reds and the oranges. So this is a hearty meal, so we're just going to cut it coarse. But we're putting the cabbage down on the bottom. That way the heat's going to soften this cabbage up. If we put it on top, it'll be pretty crunchy. We're going to throw in a handful of chopped green onions that I freeze. Some of those are off my balcony farm. Here's some frozen celery. Celery, sometimes when it's on sale, that's a wonderful item to, if you have space in your freezer, to chop it up and freeze it. This is going to be going on for an hour, so I don't like the broccoli down at the very bottom because I don't want it to get too overcooked. This way on the top, it's still, it's not been cooked to death because it's frozen and it's on low heat, so it's slow cooked. That's going to be fine. If you have any cans of vegetables in your house, like chickpeas or other type of beans or corn, you can add them to add more flavor and texture and color. If you have a little garden, it's a perfect dish for gardens because you have maybe a little bit of kale or different types of greens you can chop up that you normally wouldn't be able to add, maybe except to a salad. So this will take almost anything you have growing in the garden and it'll transform it into something really nutritious and tasty and good looking. Now I said I'm adding 2 little meatballs, but you aren't going to be adding any because you don't want meat, but you want a meat substitute, this is the key. If you add a little 4-ounce can of the white button mushrooms, it'll give a little bit of a meaty texture to the meal. Once again, put these on top because we don't want to overcook them from the heat. They'll be cooking, but they won't be heating up really bad. Now, you can also add some tofu. That I like to grill this tofu and then keep it separate in the refrigerator, and then I would use it to dishes like this if I'm not adding any meat. So let's start adding some of our spices. These spices are going to be absorbing some of the liquid that's going to come off. I love parsley flakes. We're going to be adding some Italian seasoning. This is McCormick's. Has got. I've tried different brands. This, for me, it's the best one. Now, I'm all out of pepper. Hardly any pepper left. Yeah, I need to get more pepper from the store. And over the top of this, we're going to put a little bit of vegetable juice because I have cooked this without adding extra liquid, and the tortellini in the bottom, there's just not enough liquid in there to get them cooked there. They were kind of rubbery. We're just adding like maybe a 1/4 of a cup or less. And you're going to have to play with your temperatures. I'm cooking on a little hot plate on the balcony on low for an hour. And you want to make sure your lid is tight so the steam condenses on the top and it comes down and goes back in the pan. If it's all dripping on the outside, all your liquid is going to be coming out, and then this is going to dry up. You don't want that. And also, this is no stick pan because if there's any problems, the no stick pan will eliminate them from if there's a burnt spot or something. But I cook this on low. I've never had anything burn at all. In fact, there's always been some liquid left over in the bottom of the pan. So play with your time, play with your temperatures. For me, it works out fine 1 hour on low. I usually add salad olives. Did I forget anything else? Sometimes I like to add a tiny bit of oil because I've found that there are certain nutrients that when you eat them, if you have a tiny bit of oil, they become more available to the body because they get the bioavailability of the nutrients can be helped by having a little bit of oil. I know I'll get some pushback on that, but that's what I've been hearing. So I'm going to go put this on for an hour, and when we come back, this will make 2 big plates. And since I don't eat dinner, I just have like a little berry shake at night. This and my oatmeal in the morning is basically my meal for the day. By the way, if you see any ants in this video, we've had 2 days of rain from a hurricane, and the black ants have come home to their summer home. Okay, everybody, it's been an hour cooking very low, slow heat out on the balcony. Once I added out on the balcony, I remembered I forgot to add carrots, so I chopped up some carrots. And those ravioli or tortellinis on the bottom, they're going to be cooked. They're going to be soft. This makes 2 nice plates. So you could serve 2 people with this. Like I said, I don't eat dinner, so I'll have all of this for lunch. And if you have extra vegetables you're cooking or you're growing in the garden, you can use them in this dish. Or if you have some inexpensive canned vegetables or frozen vegetables, it lends itself. Now, I'm going to add a meatball. You don't have one because you're making a meatless meal, but I put a meatball in there. We're going to add a little Parmesan. Or I also like to add cheddar. So guys, there you go. It's a very hearty dish, very flavorful, and it's got a lot of textures, different colors, and it sounds like a long time, an hour, but this is very low heat. So the vegetables are going to be tender, not overcooked. Raviolis are done. Look at those mushrooms. The carrots and the celery still have a bite to it. I take that back. The carrots are nice and soft. So guys, if you're wanting to add vegetables to your diet, this is a very cheap, inexpensive, lazy way to make a very nutritious and very pleasant meal. Hope this was something helpful to you. Put on new videos every week. Robb's Homemade Life. Been doing it for 16 years. Got over 1,100 videos and new stuff every single week. All right, guys. Take care. See you out there.